Hey guys, Anthony 4x4 Diesel. We're just on a road test. We're going on the long road test after injector change. First thing I want you to do is have a listen. While you're listening, I've just accelerated this Hilux from turning left to about 60 kilometers an hour, and I don't hear a rattle at all whatsoever. Now, this video, what it's going to be about, we're just going to have a quick discussion about injector replacement cost in the Prado hospital, and a few of the costing, not a quote, but some estimations and approximate costs to give you an idea so that you don't get any surprises. Most people don't get surprises, but that's probably because we communicate so well and be really transparent about what's what and who's who and what's where. Now, first thing is, a lot of people would know that I'm sort of complaining or a bit surprised about the rattles our Hilux makes. We've got a 2013 Hilux, and I've got my son in the car with me now on this road test. He's 9, Mitch is here. And Mitch, what do you reckon about our Hilux? A little bit noisy, a little bit rattly?
Yeah.
How rattly? Would you say a little bit or a fair bit rattly? How would you describe it?
A fair bit rattly.
Fairly rattly. Is the Prado rattly, the old 120?
Nah.
Exactly right. So we're going, the Hilux is a 13. It's got the newer, better injectors, and it's quite rattly. So I'm surprised. And when I drive clients' vehicles like this on road tests, I don't hear rattles like that usually. Now, they all do vary, and this is the issue. And quite a lot of them are a bit noisy, but I reckon we've probably got the noisiest Hilux, which is fine. And we're going to try and get to the bottom of it. And I'll get to more of that probably later in this video. But what I wanted to say was, this morning I dropped you off at school, didn't I?
Yeah.
So, because remember what we said, guys, school hours. I work school hours. Now, there's other things to do outside school hours, not just spend time with the kids, other aspects of the business. So please try to keep the inquiries between school hours, and as I said earlier in the week, the better. Monday's parts day, that one is from 8 AM, no issues there. You can go a bit earlier if you like. Monday morning for parts. Now, you probably didn't hear it, I don't know if you noticed or not, but when I drove out, or you were with me taking you to school this morning, when I drove out with a Hilux cold, it was rattly as anything. Did you notice it or not?
Yes,
You did notice it as well. So you're with me, it's very rattly. Okay. Then I dropped you off and I drove back and I went, yeah, it's pretty rattly, and I keep thinking I've got to put a new set of injectors in it. So the background for people that haven't heard the rest of the story is, we purchased this Hilux. I did notice it was quite rattly. I went, that's all right, I'll chuck a set of injectors in it. So I wasn't going to, but it was quite rattly because I wanted to push it out and see how far can we push these things. I'll take the risk, this is what I do. Anyway, it was quite rattly. I went, nah, this set's not good, let's just get a new set. We've got a new set in. Got to tell you, it might be quieter when it was cold, because it was quiet when it was cold, like this one is, but when it's warm, it was rattly, weirdly rattly, right? And I had a number of other people I work with have a listen to it to see what they think, and they said same thing. Yeah, we're kind of like, yeah, the Hiluxes are like that, but they agreed that, yeah, it's quite rattly anyway. So next thing we did was we took those injectors out, and I put a set of injectors from a 2014 Prado that we replaced with someone just as a matter of maintenance, 174, 176 there, somewhere in the 170s anyway, kilometres. 214, so 7 years old, exactly where we recommend to replace them. And we thought, we'll take a set of those, we'll put them in the vehicle, and we'll continue the R&D, or R&TU, research and tell you, which is what we really wanted to do. And I've got to tell you now, it's really rattly when it's cold. So some injectors that were quiet in a Prado, right, so this is giving you all the information. They were quiet in the Prado, no issues, customer wasn't complaining, just a matter of maintenance. But they're really rattly when they're cold in the Hilux. Once it's warmed up, it's just how it was before with new or old injectors, so it's about the same. And of course, the injectors that came out of the Hilux, we gave to someone a little bit cheaper. We said, oh, they're used, a couple of thousand Ks, a couple of $100 discount, whatever. Yep, no dramas. Everyone's happy to save a couple $100 for as good as a new set of injectors. Happy days, right? And of course, that's dead set quiet as well. That went into a vehicle, it's all quiet. So there was nothing wrong with the new injectors, of course. But the new injectors didn't fix the rattle, of course. But now we've put some old injectors in, we notice a rattle when it's cold. Now, I've just driven the vehicle twice, our Hilux that is, twice today at the school Did you notice when I just picked you up? Was it rattly? Did you notice or not really?
A little bit.
A little bit rattly? Okay, so it's worse when it's cold. So on the way to school, it's rattly. That's why you notice probably a little bit less than in the morning, because you were with me in the morning, only on the way back in the afternoon. Anyway, so we've come back. Mitch has come down the Prado hospital with me, and he's holding onto the scan tool there, keeping an eye on all the feedback values and everything while I'm driving. This is the long road test we do for all the injector replacement jobs, because the motto is no comebacks. Not some, not every now and then, not haven't had one for a while. It's no comebacks. We don't want any comebacks. I don't want comebacks. You don't want comebacks. Let's get it right the first time. And one of the biggest things you can do to make sure you're not going to get to the final check is not even a quick drive. We've done a little drive, we've done a little check, we do a big drive, and there's going to be a big check. I'm going to spend 10 minutes looking under this engine bay. When I'm done, going over my mind on everything that could have been forgotten that I can see, etc., if you know what I mean. So a detailed final inspection, make sure there's no leaks, no plugs, no clips, no bolts, nothing missing. That all-important bolt on the EGR cooler, making sure that's there. But what I want to say, what inspired this video was, well, this is not exactly what inspired the video. What inspired the video was I wanted to talk about injector replacement costings of kits and labour and that sort of thing, and give you a few ideas. That's what inspired it, and I was going to do it while driving this vehicle, but I've started it up. I've set up the camera on the, here we go, and so we don't have to touch it and all that. We're just driving along, showing you the scenery, showing you our route, Russo Estate Winery. There you go. So that's where we are, if you want to know. Driving past there, we're not far from, getting out in the countryside, right next door. And I noticed how quiet it was. I went, this thing's just bloody quiet. So I thought, did you want to say something?
Yeah, it's got a tiny little rattle.
This one's got a tiny little rattle?
Yes.
Will they do that? Can you hear a rattle at the moment, though?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, I can't hear nothing, mate. It's dead set silence. But anyway, this is the difference between different age people's ears, younger and old and all that sort of thing, but and anything in the middle and all that, right? So the point is, if I was driving our Hilux now, I would hear it rattling, right? I would get that rattle, and when I drove out cold, I got the rattle. This vehicle, when we drove it out cold, wouldn't you agree that it was silent compared to our Hilux?
Yeah, it was silent.
Silent compared to ours, and wouldn't you say that, like, look, this is what we're doing. We're turning here, right? Here we are. I'm going to put the window down. We've got a clear road. There's hardly ever, shouldn't say never. Okay, you can hear the engine. K's, 60 K's, 70 K's. I'll put the window up. I've got to be honest, with our Hilux, when the window is up is when I hear more rattle. And we will hear some rattle. They are a diesel. But what I'm talking about is what's normal and what's not, if you know what I mean. And I'm really impressed with how this one's come up. Now, there's been a couple of questions. I'm going to quickly answer that one as well. Because I put up that video showing the different injectors. You've got the Japan injectors, Thai injectors, and the Reeboks business and all that, right? Look, it doesn't matter if they're Japan or Thai, as long as they're brand new, genuine. As I've said, I even like the Thai ones better. So I'm actually going to put a Thai manufactured set of injectors in our Hilux. That's what's happening next. So we'll have tried the injectors that were in there. That was probably not a lot wrong with. A brand new set made in Japan that there was nothing wrong with, but didn't solve the noise. We put an old set in there that weren't noisy in a Prado that didn't solve the noise, and just goes to show how much Prados hide the noise, because it wasn't noisy in a Prado, but it's noisy in a Hilux. And now we're going to put a brand new set of Thai injectors in our Hilux. This vehicle, I'm very impressed with. I'm going to stop talking for a minute, see if you can hear anything other than wind noise, and I'm going to listen for myself. And Mitch, you have a listen as well, and see if we reckon there's any sort of rattle there. You can hear more wind noise than anything, yeah? It's like, I don't know what roof rack it is, but I think it's the roof bars. The roof bars, they're so noisy, aren't they? Can you hear them?
Yeah, I can hear like a squeal thing.
A squealy noise off the roof bars and a wind noise. There's two noises off the roof bars. You hear that wind noise and the squeal.
Yeah, there's
terrible.
Definitely a noise on the
And
roof.
tell everyone, our Prados, we've got two Prados with roller Titans, right? Do they make any noise on the roof at all? Any noise?
Not at all.
Any noise? What about a little bit? Just a little bit?
No.
No noise. So there you go, mate. Kids don't lie. They say it how it is. I'm telling you, the Roller Titan, not only is it bloody strong compared to the other brands, it's not creating wind resistance and not making noise. Like, I think this has just got crossbars on it. Anyway, I was meant to be quiet. Let's just listen for a minute. I'm severely impressed with how quiet this Hilux is. This is what I want, and I know this is what a lot of you want. And if these people can have it, why can't we have it, right? So I don't know. Obviously, it's not injectors. It's not. So injectors can be. This is what I'm trying to say. So you've got to do your periodic maintenance. So in one video, I'm saying don't buy injectors, because I want you to be careful where you buy them, and I don't want you to replace them unnecessarily. But we've got evidence also that says over and over again that 150. Just listening. Bit of a rattle there. That's the normal rattle though. This is a 2012, virtually identical, 4-speed auto. It feels like I'm driving my Hilux, other than this one's a bit smoother. We've got some really heavy duty suspension, which is very soon going to get changed out for some nice Dobinsons and monotubes and whatever, and I suggest it's probably going to be a massive improvement. Stay tuned for that, because I'm going to let you know, honest appraisal, and that's it. Okay, so this one's really quiet. I'm impressed. If mine can be like this, I'll be happy, that's for sure. So it's going to get a set of these injectors into it. Okay, as far as costs go, now there's a lot of variables, and I've said this, whether it's text message, videos, posts, or whatever. I don't like to talk about it too much. There's lots of variables. So I'm going to give you ballpark figures. Budget about $3,000 for an injector kit. We're talking about injectors, pipes, all the seals and gaskets, everything you need for the job, the map filter, delivery to your door, and all the right brand new, genuine, fresh stuff. Not the wrong stuff, not get it right the second time, get it right the first time is what you're going to get, okay? Express post to your door, parts days Monday morning. Okay, so the parts. So some injector kits are cheaper than that. It might be $2,800, somewhere around there. Prices vary. I try not to change your prices too much, but sometimes prices are up for things because we can't get them and we've got to pay more, and I don't want to keep changing the prices, so I absorb that. But every now and then they go down and we drop it back down again. Sometimes if it's a big up, then we got to have a price up. Sometimes so it goes up and down a little bit. I'm not going to just tell you about $50 or $80 up or down out of $3,000, because you only spend $3,000 every 8 years. Who gives us stuff? It's not much, right? Doesn't matter, give or take $100 or $200. What matters is you get the right injectors right the first time. Same as the workmanship, right? So again, lots of variables. So do you need an e-jar clean or not? Does it need a manifold clean or not, right? Have you got a bull bar, brush bar, light bars, antennas, extra fuel filters, dual batteries, catch cans, all these things in the way that make the thing take hours longer, right? So this is where I'll quote you anything from $3,000 to $6,000, because $3,000 is your injector kit. It's not going to be any less than that. If I get someone that absolutely haggles me and really wants a job with no injectors, with no pipes, you just want injectors, no e-jar clean, that's done, no map, you just want injectors, basically nothing else, bare essentials, and you want a quick slap bang job, and it's an 05 Hilux, stock standard. No, we can get that done for $3,000, right? But you're going to avoid your warranty on injectors because of these dirty old rusty pipes. But you want that? Okay, no worries, we'll do that for you, right? So $3,000, that's your cheapest, right? You're not going to get anything like an injector job from me for less than $3,000, and that's what you're going to get. Up to about $6,000, because labor, pulling off manifolds, hourly rates, big dollars, coolant, gaskets, whatever, you're going to be up around $6,000. Now, what's the most common price of injector replacement job? Somewhere around between $3,700 and $4,700 is what I'm going to quote most people, with the most common price right in the middle, $4,200. And I said there's a lot of variables. We can't talk about all of them here because it's going to take a lot more detail. I'll give you some examples. At the Prado hospital, to save costs, we don't accept credit cards and we don't have an FPOS machine. So for your kits or your payments, it's all bank transfer or bring cash to pay for it, either one, right? Now, if you come and pick stuff up, then you're going to save on delivery and things like that. So, cash is preferred, because that way we know you pay it, I've got it, that's it. There's no delay with banks and whatever. But you need to sort of, work out what suits you, Obviously, whatever suits you is what we want to do, because that suits you. We're here to help. This is what I'm trying to explain in this video. That's your costs. So Really, you want to budget about the $4,000 mark for the injector job done with an e-jar clean. It's going to be more with a manifold, but that's sort of 4, give or take, probably a bit over 4. Again, depends on the vehicle. So budget 4 or so, 4-ish, and you know, things like matte filters and I keep saying, everybody will probably want to have a plate with a 7mm hole in their keyring because we don't buy, sell or install them. But while it's pulled apart, or it might already be in there, or whatever the case may be, we'll talk about that when we see you in detail. I don't want to waste too much time. That's long enough. 15 minutes. We've done about 20 Ks. We've got no engine lights. How are the readings, Mitch? What are those feedback values? 1, 2, 3, 4. How are they looking? Are they all pretty nice?
0.1, 0.5, 0.4, 0.1.
That's good. That sounds good, and that's ideal, guys. A little bit of extra info for you since we're doing it. If you get a 1.1 or a 0.8 or even a 1.7, I've got to tell you, these things happen sometime, probably 1 in 10, and there's nothing you can do about it. And they may be the one that's a bit rattly, and they might not be. Could be a slight difference in compression in that engine. You know, differences a little bit in valve clearance from one to the other. But this engine is bloody quiet, and that's a video. All I'm going to do is one more. I'm going to put the all these cars going past. I want to put the window down, but it's just going to be noisy anyway. To just give it a bit of a it's just such a clean revving engine. I'm very happy with the way it's come up. I love it when they come up like this. I wish everybody's could. It's not always possible, but usually it's a big improvement either way. So you know, there's 2 ways to look at it. You need injectors, but you don't. Keep watching the videos, inject information playlist, get your head around it, try and understand it, make your own decision. You get what you pay for. We guarantee the job's done right the first time with the right parts, the right workmanship, no mistakes, or we guarantee it. Lifetime guarantee on our workmanship is the other thing you got to take into consideration, and the VIP group information. If I was to disappear, there's enough people and information in that group to get you by forever. Guys, except there's nobody left to let you in. Well, there's one secret, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 secret people that don't let anyone in that will then control that group if something was to happen to me, so you don't have to worry. Anyway, guys, we're out of here. Bada bing, you know, thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on, share the videos. Thanks for watching. Catch ya.